click the right button. This is the Education Appropriations Subcommittee. We are now in session. All members have a copy of the tracking sheet. We will go through this just noting those areas where we differ from the governor's budget. Beginning on page 1 with Early Care and Learning Department. If you will look on 21-1-2, the $7,500 reduction is the same reduction that we put in for the midterm. And then on line 21-3-2, you see an increase of $893,000. That's to bring the funding for the increase in days and the operating expenses that are a part of that in line. And in order to fund that, you see on the next line a reduction of $854,000. That is a reduction in the startup funds, which is a reflection of the decrease in the number of slots and reducing 2 consultants. And then the next line is a reduction of $39,000 in administrative costs, and those two lines make up the $893,000 add. On the next page, we start in the Department of Education. Come on up here, Howard. 23-1-1 ag education. As we did in the midterm, we have reduced that cut down to a 1% cut. In the central office on line 23-2-3, we extend the cut that we did in midterm to the central office of $33,000. And on 23-2-4, you see an add of $120,000. That is to fund the school nurse position, state coordinator's position. It was funded in the additional money that the governor put in for nurses, and we are accurately reflecting it in this category. On 23-4, we have restored the cut to communities and schools, making it whole. On 23-9-1, we have restored the cut to Georgia Youth Science and Technology to make it whole. And then on the next page, 23, at the top of the page, 23-10-2, we have restored $10,000 of the cut to the Governor's Honors Program, which makes that approximately a 1% cut. 23-11-1, which is the information technology services. There was actually no decline in usage, and so we've restored that cut. Had we not done that mid-year, we would have had to have put that money back in anyway. And so we restored that cut. 23-12-1, as we did in the midterm, we have restored the $76,000 cut to residential treatment centers. And then moving on to nutrition, 23-13-1, you can see that we have said no to the transfer of those funds into the QBE program. They will remain as a separate program. And then on 23-13-2, we've reduced the cut to nutrition, bringing it cut down to approximately a 2.3% cut in the amount of $525,000. Preschool handicap, 23-14-1, we have trued up that number based on actual enrollment and including their increase in the TRS costs. So that's an $816,000 add. Quality basic education equalization. You can see there are 2 things there. There's $500,000 that's being held, set aside to take care of a problem with the Troup County equalization earnings based on a problem with the tax digest report there. And then there's $70,000 coming back from Clinch County schools. So we are holding, you see, a total of $429,000 in equalization adjustments. Quality Basic Education Program. You see that, again, we are saying no to the move of nutrition and no to the move of school nurses. So the only thing that will be moving is the pupil transportation, and that's the difference on 23-18-3. On 23-18-5, that has been adjusted. The math and science teacher salary figure has been adjusted to be to actuals, so it's an increase of about $70,000 there. And then 23-18-6, again adjusting for actual enrollments. That results in a reduction down to $112 million. RESAs, Regional Education Service Agencies, as we did in the midterm, we have restored the core services cut, so that drops the RESA cut from $171,000 to $60,000. And now on page 4, school nurses, 23-21-1. The difference there is the $120,000 that comes out of that nurses ad to fund the statewide coordinator's position, which shows up back in this central office function. And then 23-21-2 is where we say no to the move into the Quality Basic Education Program, and that's why you see the 0 there. Severely emotionally disturbed, SED, we have reduced that based on a 4.3% decline in student population. State schools, 23-24-2, adding funding for their training and experience factor for their employees, $190,000 add. Career Tech, 23-25, as we did in the midterm, we are lowering that cut back to a 1% cut. In the testing area, 23-26-2, in order to fund one AP exam for all students on free and reduced lunches, required an additional $177,000 added to the $800,000+ that was in the base funding for that. And that moves us then on to page 5, which is the employees' retirement system. There's only 2 little changes, and they actually don't change any dollar amounts, but under system administration, 24-4-2 and 24-4-3, these are the result of 2 bills that we passed just recently in the House, and requires that those items show up on here. The first one has no cost. The second one, the cost is $1,000, and so audit doesn't require the amount to show. That's all that's on that page. Page 6 has the professional standards and Office of Student Achievement. We've made no changes to the governor's requests there. And page 7 is the teacher retirement system, where we have made no changes. So that constitutes all of the changes. Are there questions from the committee?
I have a couple real quick ones, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, just a second. Let me. What are you, 80?
I'm 84.
Okay, you're on.
About how old I feel. On the pre-K slots, how many slots fewer are we funding?
2,000 slots fewer.
2,000 slots fewer. And on the AP exam line, how many students does that represent being able to take one AP
That's
test?
about 19,000, if I remember right, isn't it?
I'll get you the exact number. It's around 17 to 19,000.
And is that the total demand for
Yes.
AP exams for
In
kids
free
who
and
in free and
reduced.
reduced? Thank you very much.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of questions on the central office in 23.2. We have the operating reduction of the operating expenses at 33,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
What's the total budget? Do we have that number for central office?
We don't have it in front of us.
Okay, we can get that later. And then my second question is under the school nurses.
Yes.
We had a bill floating around to actually create the coordinator. By doing this by appropriation, is it still necessary to codify that position?
It may be. I'm not positive of that. We'll have to refer that to legislative counsel, who's not here.
I just want, because that's what I thought we could do, is just go ahead and fund it this way and allow the superintendent to done it. Yeah, we've done it. So I don't know if codifying it is even necessary, but.
It is necessary to put the money in.
Yes. Okay, all right.
And that reflects salary and benefits, the 123,000. Any further questions?
I got,
Yes, sir.
trying to find transportation on here. So the three recommendations moving various areas into the QBE funding formula, we've disagreed with two and agreed with transportation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And just a comment, I talked to an educator out of my county last weekend, and the governor had made a comment at the start of the session, I think, about this going to try to do away with, or we were doing away with the furlough days for education. That's not necessarily the case. Our local systems are still having to do furlough days.
Right. Well, furloughs were really never a part of the budget. That was a local way of dealing with cuts.
I know, and I'm not trying to throw him on the bus, but he did make a comment, I think, the first year we were going to put money back in education, do away with furlough days, but it's still happening out here. And some of the teachers are still pretty upset that their local systems are having to do it because of the lack of funding.
Right.
And they just were concerned about that. And I just wanted to share that information. I understand it's, it is local. If they don't have the money, they got to balance their budgets too.
Right. Any other questions? I think I heard a motion. You want to repeat the motion?
I just want to clarify one last time. These charter school systems, we've taken that money out.
We have agreed with we have agreed with the governor's position, which was that the money would not be in the budget.
Thank you. That'll move you back.
We have motion and several seconds for due pass to recommendation from here to the whole committee. Any further discussion? 3 o'clock. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Anybody's on the rule.